Welcome to our session. Today we're diving into concerns about our teenagers' mental health and how our digital world might be playing a role.
I'm really intrigued by the layers here. What's catching your eye about this issue?
Well, it's like, we've got this alarming trend where teenage mental health is really deteriorating. For instance, over half of teen girls, about 57%, are dealing with overwhelming feelings of violence, sadness, and hopelessness. It's a crisis that's hard to ignore.
Yeah, it's something, that really makes you pause. So these stats, they really spotlight a vast difference between girls and boys, right? I believe for teen boys the number is lower, around 29% showing similar sentiments.
Exactly. And what's even more concerning is that these figures aren't just numbers. They reflect real kids like Ethan, whose story, really illustrates this crisis. His father, David, noticed subtle changes. A once lively boy now isolated in the glow of his phone, clearly suffering behind a facade of normalcy.
Right, and that scenario, where a teenager's emotional state is shadowed by digital light, is kind of, haunting. It's like the screen becomes a portal hiding their pain.
Absolutely, it's haunting and, so deeply relatable for many parents. David, after realizing his son's silence hidden behind that screen, turned to emotion coaching.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a powerful move. Isn't it interesting how, in an age of digital distraction, the solution turned out to be something so profoundly personal? Emotion coaching and, genuine dialogue?
Right, exactly. It's like we are facing a complex dance between technology and genuine human connection. David's shift from discounting negative emotions to embracing them truly became the catalyst for change in his son's life.
It almost sounds like a wake-up call for all parents. But I'm curious, did the conversation touch on why our teens are so vulnerable in this digital age?
Oh, for sure. It ties directly into the pressures of online interactions. Cyberbullying, social media's influence. It's like there's this constant undercurrent of judgment and isolation. The statistics from the Surgeon General and CDC really drive home that these digital factors are significant contributors.
So, it's not just a personal family issue, but actually reflects a broader societal problem, huh?
Exactly. It's a national crisis, and when we talk about these issues, it's important to acknowledge that particularly for LGBTQ plus youth and other vulnerable groups, the data shows a spike in violence and mental health struggles even more than the average teen.
That's a real eye-opener. But, hey, I'm wondering, do you think emotion coaching alone is enough to tackle something so vast?
Well, here's where I might push back a bit because while emotion coaching it's definitely a critical step. It isn't a solo cure-all. It needs to be part of a broader cultural shift in how we address mental health and emotional struggles.
Yeah, I hear that. It's like a piece of a larger puzzle. Right. It seems that besides adopting these supportive practices at home, there's a need for systemic changes in schools, communities, basically, every aspect of a teen's life.
Correct. The narrative stresses that parents need to be proactive, starting with simple things like regular, honest conversations at the dinner table. The idea is that these check-ins foster an environment where teens feel safe to express vulnerability.
It's almost like having a weekly mini therapy session at home, isn't it? Just by being, consistently present.
Yeah, that consistency builds trust. And it's as if every family meal becomes an opportunity to dismantle the stigma around expressing negative emotions. David's journey is a perfect testament to that kind of transformation.
Speaking of transformations, did the discussion touch on any concrete steps parents can take to become effective emotion coaches?
Definitely. It highlighted strategies like active listening, validating feelings before diving into problem solving, and setting clear boundaries. It reminds me of an old analogy. It's like cultivating a garden. You need to nurture each plant with care instead of just, expecting it to thrive
Yeah,
on
that's
its
a great
own.
way to look at it. I love that analogy. It makes the idea so much more tangible. A garden needs attention, consistency, and love. But don't you think there's a danger of oversimplifying? I mean, sometimes parents might feel overwhelmed by these new expectations.
That's a valid point. While emotion coaching offers a hands-on approach, it's not always easy to transition from a dismissive style to a nurturing one, especially for parents who haven't received guidance on it. It calls for education and support systems, maybe even professional advice to ease the process.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it seems like the article also nudges parents towards professional resources, like Gottman Inc.'s tools and workshops. Those seem to blend research with practical strategies.
Right, exactly. Gottman offers a suite of products, from relationship advisors to virtual workshops, that are all geared towards creating healthier dynamics, both in the parent-child relationship and in other relationships. It's like they provide the blueprint for building a solid emotional foundation.
So it's not just about managing teen angst, but also about nurturing relationships holistically. It makes me think, about how our personal well-being impacts our ability to support our kids.
Absolutely. The narrative suggests that parents who engage openly about their own emotional highs and lows cultivate a family culture of trust. It's very much a two-way street where openness and vulnerability on all sides create resilience.
I'm curious, did the story mention any long-term impacts of such a parenting style? Like, can these approaches bring lasting change?
Yes, the story of Ethan shows that gradual change is possible. Over time, by reinforcing these conversations and validating his struggles, David witnessed a real transformation in his son's behavior. Ethan went from battling deep-seated despair to, well, starting to laugh again and reconnect with loved ones.
Yeah, that's truly inspiring. That's, almost like hope in a seemingly hopeless situation. It shows that even when things are dire, change is possible with the right support.
Exactly. It's a reminder that the smallest acts of empathy can ripple out, making a substantial impact on teen mental health. You know, it's like each honest conversation is a stepping stone towards healing.
It's really fascinating how the digital era, while contributing to the problem, may also offer avenues for innovative solutions. I wonder if future technology might, help parents monitor or even predict emotional distress better.
That's an interesting thought. Technology, when harnessed properly, could eventually provide tools for early detection or even real-time support, but it has to be balanced with, personal connection. It's like, you don't want to replace genuine empathy with algorithms.
Right. Relying solely on tech could risk depersonalizing what's, inherently human. And sometimes, an algorithm doesn't capture all the nuance of a warm conversation.
Exactly. And I find it compelling how the conversation draws a clear line between the pace of digital influence and the timeless importance of face-to-face dialogue, especially in moments of vulnerability.
And there's a clear call to action for parents, not just to be aware, but to actively reshape their communication at home. It sounds like a steep learning curve sometimes, huh?
Yeah, but it's one that, really pays off in the long run. David's approach of incorporating weekly emotional check-ins shows that consistent, simple actions can turn the tide over months, not overnight, but steadily.
I can imagine many parents feeling galvanized by that promise, that even small changes can make a big difference. It's quite reassuring.
Absolutely. And while the statistics are terrifying, the story's heartbeat is optimistic. It's a clarion call for parents to, prioritize and invest in emotional well-being, both for their teens and themselves.
I really appreciate that balance. The acknowledgement of serious issues paired with practical, actionable advice. It makes the conversation more than just a critique. It's a guide.
Yep. And it also encourages us to be honest about our own imperfections. We all have moments where we stumble, but it's our willingness to learn and adapt that sets the tone for future generations.
Well said. It's like every small talk at the dinner table or every check-in is an investment in building resilience for our kids, and even for us.
Exactly. And that's the key takeaway here. Genuine emotional engagement, even with all its challenges, can be the light that guides our youth through these digital shadows.
I guess the message is, while the challenges are real, so is the possibility for healing. With a little empathy, consistency, and, perhaps some expert guidance.
Yes, and in the end, we're reminded that addressing this crisis starts at home, with every conversation, every shared moment, weaving together a safety net for our teenagers.
Great conversation today. It's been, a rich dive into how our personal efforts can ripple out to counter a national crisis. Thanks for this thoughtful exploration.
Thanks for the insights and questions. Until next time, let's keep championing honest, heartfelt connections in our homes.